Uh-oh. Still? Okay. Hang on a second, guys. We're not out of the woods yet. How about this one? Nope. Folks, bear with me. It was working a minute ago, I promise. Is that working? It most assuredly is not. Bear with me just a minute here, folks. Just working through some technical issues right now. I promise it was working a minute ago. There we go. All right, let me switch that back on. Folks, welcome to the show, and what can I tell you other than this is truly an episode of the Delver's Dungeon, because, my God, what would it be without technical issues at the 11th hour? Anyway, it's good to see you, and it is absolutely good to be seen by you. Welcome, and if you're wondering what this nonsense is and why the screen was going black and all that nonsense, well, that's just how we roll around here on this tabletop role-playing game live stream show sometimes. But anyway, whatever it was, I have fixed it. I think Windows did a little update boo-boo and forgot all of my camera settings. I started at 7 o'clock firing up the studio PC. So I was literally fighting that fire until just seconds ago. But I'm glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here because we have some fun stuff for you tonight. Tonight, we are going to be playing Conflict. That is Kyle Schuant's excellent role-playing game about combat, about conflict and adventure and all sorts of fun things. And we're going to get to that in just a few minutes. But if you're new here, 5 nights a week, folks, we do tabletop gaming stuff live for you, for your entertainment, because I care about y'all that much. And tonight, like all other nights, is brought to you by our friends at Hellebarde Games. Hellebarde makes the kind of adventures that they'd like to play, whether it's for 5th edition, whether it's for Castles and Crusades, or the OSR. Old School is in play at the table with Hellebarde Games, and you can find them at DriveThruRPG or on their own website, hellebardegames.com. So, once again, we are here and we are ready to play. Greetings, PML. Greetings, Powerful Silencer of the Alamo, Damien. Good to see you and all of you folks filtering in. I hope you all sit and watch for a while. And if you're one of the 4,955 people subscribed to this here YouTube channel and you haven't already, or just visiting this YouTube channel and you haven't subscribed already and joined the others, please do click that subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications, and leave a comment down below the video. And technical issues aside, if you like what you see, give it a thumbs up and tell us in the comments below what you did like, and we'll do more of it. Because that's just how eager I am to please. Now, if you're wondering, hey, does this guy just do Let's Plays every night? No. We have all kinds of content. We have deep dives into RPG products. We have history of Dungeons and Dragons, because that is my first passion, ladies and gentlemen, advanced Dungeons and Dragons. In fact, we do a Let's Play every Tuesday night of AD&D. We have guests. We have luminaries now. We've interviewed the likes of Jim Ward and Alan Hammock and Skip Williams and Steve Marsh and just all sorts of creators and artists from really TSR's greatest eras. And I bring that to you as much as I can, because I like you guys. So tomorrow night, we've got a close friend of the show, Mr. Bob Antone. And if you don't know who Bob is, you haven't been paying attention, because the closing credits, the little ditty Owl Bear, was composed by Bob. He is a member of the Tinkham Road Band, and that is the band. It's called Tinkham Road. It's not the Tinkham Road Band. Tinkham Road. Bob's going to be here tomorrow night, and we're going to talk about spooky October-y things. We're going to talk about cryptids and ghosts and all that kind of cool American folklore. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you guys will be here to join us when we have Bob over. Friday night, the spooktacular continues as Shocktober rolls on, and we play session 3 of our cursed Call of Cthulhu campaign. This week's episode, the penultimate one, A Death in the Family. So, if you like things Lovecraftian, unusual, non-Euclidean, and subtly horrifying, you don't want to miss that, because we'll wrap it up with a slam-bang adventure next Friday when we conclude Shocktober. So I hope you will join us all for that. Tonight, we're getting real. When the only monster is your fellow man, and the politics go right out the door when the bullets start to fly. So without too much more ado, we're going to welcome in our players here in just a minute. Now, I have invites out to everyone, so hopefully we'll be seeing some folks joining us here in just a few minutes, and I can see they have filed into the green room as we have filed out of the green zone. But at that point, I'm going to do everyone in the world a favor, don my headphones and shut my app, and welcome tonight's game master. He is if you'd like to know, he is a former military. He's out of Australia. He's bad. He's beautiful. You know him. You love him. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, unless you're watching this on mobile, and then don't do it because you'll smash your phone, for the one, the only Kyle Schuant, the Viking Hat GM.
Oh, hi, is that me? Sorry, I was just reading the rules. I was just trying to make sure I know them for the game.
Probably a good call, Kyle. And where could a fellow or fellette, make no bones about either way that happens to go, get a copy of Conflict?
Get it from Lulu, because then you've got it in print. Who wants
Exactly. These are excellent little books here, and I've got my. Did I put that on the shelf over behind me? Yes, I did. So I've got my copy of Conflict, and you should go to Lulu, and I think I should be able just to pull that up real quick. Let me see. Let's go to Lulu, and then I'll share that URL for anyone who's interested in getting their hot little hands on an RPG. Most excellent. Should be pretty easy to find. Here we go. Nope, that is not it, unless you've introduced anime girls into your game, Kyle.
Only as targets.
Only as targets. Well, hey, I would bet you can reskin a game any way you want, right?
It would be very strange, but I suppose so.
Now I'm getting this Girls and Panzer vibe, but with the Conflict rules. Anyway, so let me just shtick this right here. That, good people, is where. Oops, that isn't where nobody can see it. Is it on drive-thru? Yes, it is, Michael Connor. It is on drive-thru. But there it is on Lulu. And let me get the drive-thru link. I will leave the Lulu print link on the screen for the moment. I'm going to grab the drive-thru. The drive-thru link here. And let's see. I don't think that's it. This is Conflict and a Person's Place in It by Better Mousetrap Games. But it's written by you.
I'd forgotten that. Here's the drive-through one. I'd forgotten that I'd written that when I wrote the rules, because that was just like a Thespy kind of consideration of what's in Conflict. It wasn't actually playing a game of shooting people. It was talking about your feelings about shooting people, basically.
Well, that's fine. That's perfectly acceptable.
That was the Thespy one to do as a sort of an overlay, role-playing, sort of considerations of it, as opposed to, this where you don't have to have any feelings at all if you want to. You could just be boom, 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 being shot and not caring and stuff. And
right. Why one could even say that with a few tweaks to the weapons, you could probably run a pretty good Terminator After Judgment Day game with this. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's specifically designed for that kind of thing. Because I did it after watching a lot of Walking Dead and Terminator and everything, and I found this thread. I found it because I was looking through my private messages and I on the RPG site, and I found this thread where I'd been discussing a Traveller, like as in classic Traveller sci-fi one, but like a version in the modern day. So you're going around in aircraft or cargo ships or something instead, and saying how you'd run that. And it was a pretty good thread. We had this guy pop up who worked in the Merchant Marine, and he sort of said, smuggling, is and isn't realistic in this and that respect. Like he said, if you want to smuggle mobile phones into North Korea, you might be able to do it like through Thailand, and then through the south of China and into North Korea or something. But you're not going to do it directly from Seattle to North Korea.
Yeah.
There's no amount of bribes that you can give to make that happen. And he talked about some of the technical issues in that, because a lot of the players are like, I could see my guy, what was it? He said I could see my guy like one-handed with a cigar firing a machine gun with the other as he goes through the Straits of Malacca and firing it at pirates and stuff. So I showed that to a friend of mine, and he said, because that was from like 2007 or 6 or something, that thread, and he said, and thus the seeds of conflict were planted.
Right on.
So I've always liked that sort of thing, and I've liked games like Recon and stuff. We've had those sorts of games. I mean, you probably before 2006 or something, you played in that post-apocalyptic game we had, where I just sort of I pulled out all the stops. We had everything that wasn't actually magical. So we had mutant animals, giant wombats, and we had robots and.
You, myself, and Aurora, and we were on the verge of taking it to a city of intelligent apes. I had stripped a war robot's machine gun out, and using my gunsmithing skills had made a support MG. And I feel like we had one other player or an NPC, but we definitely had enough to mount an assault on the perimeter guards at least. And then time got away. This was like you playing with us was like 2 p.m. on a weekday for you, so it didn't work out, but it was fun nonetheless.
Yeah, I can't remember all the details, but I mean that's the way it usually is. I, as the game master, usually remember fewer of the details than the players do, which I take as a good sign, because it means that they were enjoying themselves if they remembered stuff.
Oh, it was loads of fun. And hey, don't feel bad. I asked my Monday night group, my AD&D group. I'll pull that. So, what are you guys planning on doing? And somebody will usually pick up the ball and say, well, we were about to enter the kobold's lair. That's right, the kobold's lairs. I'm furiously looking up notes for the kobold's lair on my computer. One of the advantages of distance gaming is, the players can't see you flop sweat when stuff like that happens.
Let's bring the guys in.
Let's bring them in.
So they can have a laugh and mock me and stuff.
Yes.
Players like to do.
All right, so we have a fan favorite. Doomsword Deathmaster is going to be joining us for, at the very least, this session as Lieutenant or Lieutenant, if you're Kyle, Rashawn Stone. Bring it on in, Doomsword.
What's up?
Hey, buddy.
And
How you doing?
to bring in our regular group, we have Bill T playing Macpherson.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody?
We have Sumarwata played by Kanek. And Jason playing Sullivan. And of course, I'm not exempt to any of this. I am letting Kyle be in the driver's seat tonight, so I get to roll some dice.
Doomsword, it's good to see you.
Hey, Green,
Yeah, you too.
good to see you.
Oh, and it finally showed up.
Excellent.
Woo-hoo! See, folks, get yourself a physical copy. I will put the link back up later. Of course, I want folks to be able to see our tags on the screen as we play. So,
Is it readable, Jason?
Oh yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, good.
and I when I was out this weekend on a little bit of a jaunt to watch some football, I picked up a pair of readers. So now I don't have to hold my copy out here.
All right, I'm just finding where to put the. Excuse me. I'm just finding.
My problem, of course, is I have two renditions of Conflict, and I can never remember which is which.
They're the same. I just put the one of them. I put the charts in the middle.
Okay, so
I did an initial sort of proof copy to see what it would look like, to see, okay, is the A5 or the digest size actually a good size, and how does it look in print? Because you never know,
right.
You could sort of choose the right font and everything, but you never know until you physically see it in your hands how it looks. So I did an initial one, and Bill got one of those, and then later on, yep, that's good. So I could do the more final form, where, you need to have your frequently referenced charts either right in the middle or right in the back.
So this is the one my grandkids will eBay for 15 grand in 35 or 40 years, and this is the one you plebs have. So
that's their college plan.
They will eBay it because I threw away the old one. I didn't change. Yeah, I didn't change any of the rules. It was just
he had to remove pencil neck and sexual tyrannosaurus under threats from the Jesse Ventura estate.
No, but the closest I ever got to that was a role-playing game I wrote had the word crap in it, and so SG Games wouldn't sell it on E23 on their.
Oh goodness.
So yeah. All right, now where are we? Okay. All right. Yep. Thank you for more. All right, haven't checked this, so I better work. you go. That's the intro. Bill T is working on a much more professional version, but haven't got that just yet.
He's
amateur at best.
He's got the classic. He's got 80s music on there with guitar riffs and everything.
Well, get Jason in on it. He might be able to supply you with music.
Yep. I got off the side here. I got a stack of synthesizers here going. So
There you
my
go.
other other obsessive hobby.
All you technical competent people here, and you know, the closest I come to mechanical skills is I lift things up and I put them down. You know. So, yeah. All right. So last week, tell us what happened, Bill.
So last week we rolled into the capital of Frankistan, and on our convoy journey into the Green Zone, we were ambushed by insurgents. They took us under RPG and small arms fire. We, along with some Marines, returned fire. We did not get away unscathed. We lost a Humvee. I think we've got 2 critical and 4 non-critical wounded, and we drove them off with volume of fire and using the typical Marine tactic of stopping and returning fire in the ambush rather than trying to just plow through it. We made good our entry into the U.S. controlled compound.
Yep, that sounds about right. So the casualties were amongst the NPCs, U.S. Marine Sergeant Avery Johnson, who some of you may recognize. He was killed in action. So he was the guy in the lead vehicle that had been mortally wounded in the head and chest. So McPherson was able to treat his head wound, but wasn't able to treat his chest wound in time.
Bummer.
Just time ran out. He bled out. By the time the quick reaction force arrived and could take him away, he was done. There was a guy who was in the back. He was the gunner on the back vehicle. Oh, sorry. There was a driver in the front vehicle, Lance Corporal driver Jones, who had serious wounds in the head and chest. He survived his wounds, but was shipped out to Germany for treatment. So you won't see him again. One down at the back, Private Gunner Albrechtson. He survived a mortal wound to the head, but as he survived a mortal wound, he lost a level of health. He only had 1 health to begin with, so that dropped him to 0 health, so he's no longer fit for military service. And after he recovers, he'll be discharged with a pension. All the other Marines just had minor wounds which were treated, and so they'll be returned to duty within a day. No adventurers were harmed during the making of the session, at least not physically.
Not yet. Not for lack of trying.
So, so you guys were all the quick reaction force came along, and that drove off any insurgents remaining. There are a number of deceased insurgents as well, including one that you took prisoner. And so everyone was bundled up in the quick reaction forces vehicles. The Humvee was they stayed and guarded it until they could tow it away, so that the locals didn't all grab it for scrap, as they want to do. The vehicles found another route over to the PMC base. Now, the PMC base is on the right-hand side of the government police building. So there's a police headquarters. So the left hand, basically, it's like a big long building, like a dormitory or school or something like that. And on one side is the police, and on the other side is the private military corporations, which is you guys. And then in the middle, there's the stairways, and guards outside with local police and all the rest. So yeah, a week has gone by. You've been settled into your dormitory. You've been introduced to various people. Let's see. Okay, that's you guys. Okay, so I'll take that away. Okay, so here is the PMC commander, or the Executive Outcomes Commander in Frankenstein, Stephen Lang. He's a real hard-ass like guy that you can't tell. He's one of those guys who's some indeterminate age between 50 and 70. But he's like, he's constantly working out, and he's a chicken and broccoli kind of guy. So constantly working out, and is pretty lean. And he always looks like that. You haven't seen him smile yet.
This is a guy where really letting himself go at a party will be eating a slice of cheese pizza and having like a quarter of a Diet Coke, and he runs 6 extra miles the next morning to cover it.
Yep.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
Cutting it with scissors like Cobra.
Gee.
He needs to add fiber to his diet.
He's not mad. He's just very disappointed.
Yes.
This is the guy that uses the transfer bars in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Gotta grab on and squeeze.
I was thinking more to do like handstand push-ups or something, but yeah.
That too.
Doing it while you're going to the bath. Okay, never mind.
He multitasks.
Not at the same time, but you know,
He's
while,
multitasking.
Right. Okay.
while I'm here, I just knock out some handstand push-ups on the bath. Right. Yeah. So he's your commander. In the ops room, there's a whole bunch of laptops and communications gear and all the rest. I think only Ellen, Safi's character, will have any idea of what it's all about. But yeah, they've got in there, Ellen, they've got set communications, and they obviously have a number of drones flying around, checking the place out. They're apparently renting them.
It's
from the US Air
Christmas. Sorry.
Pretty much.
Yeet.
And that's the only time we've ever seen Sumawata smile.
Well, you put all explosives by me, and that's another opportunity.
Yeah, so there's those guys. Now there's there's the local military as well. Okay. Called the Frankistan National Defense Force. So you see these guys around. The guy on the left is US military, but those two guys on the right are the locals. So the locals are mostly fairly light-skinned, but they're kind of, it's Central Asia. So they've got that kind of like Western Chinese or, you know, Turkestan or whatever, or Turkmenistan rather, kind of look to them. That's what these locals look like. And like every military, they've got sort of tiers of ability. They've got the base conscripts who would all be readiness 1, and they've got the regular army or the conscripts who've been in a few firefights would be, the conscripts would be readiness 0. That means that they've got to have a leader to tell them to do things, because a good leadership role gives you +1 to your readiness. So in order for them to do anything at all, there has to be a leader with them shouting at them. So that's your conscripts, and then you've got your regular guys or your conscripts have got a little bit of combat experience, they'll be readiness 1. And then you've just got a few special forces guys, who the equivalent of you guys, who have readiness 2. So, which reminds me, so that everyone except the lieutenant was in a combat last week. So there's a chance that you will improve your readiness. Now, if you have, none of you have readiness 0, so that doesn't apply. But those of you with readiness 1, which is Stapleton and McPherson, the ones with readiness 1 may improve it from 1 to 2. They may, if they roll 10 or more on 2d6.
Okay.
Okay, and if any,
did you learn from your experience, basically?
if any of our players want to try the on-screen die roller, you can. I make no promises about whether or not it works. Bless their pointy little heads.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll my regular dice just because if
that's
I fail,
fine.
I can blame me.
Right on.
That's
so
a
is
10.
readiness 2 the maximum that we can go?
Hey, there we
Well,
go.
it's the maximum you can go in one go, yeah.
Not that anyone can see it, but the on-screen die roller is in fact working.
Got a 7. What do
7.
you got?
Okay, so who got the success?
That would be Sullivan. I got a 10.
Sullivan. Okay, so Sullivan, you can make a mental note of it in my file, but you can make a mental note that he now has readiness 2. So that means he'll have 2 actions every turn, and when he goes for initiative, he'll go for and get to add 2 to it, and so on.
Great.
So that's good. Anyone else? So who was the other one with readiness 1? McPherson.
That was me, yeah.
No luck?
I got a 7 on that roll.
Okay, so no luck. McPherson still has a bit to learn.
Indeed.
Next time, shoot at the enemy more instead of helping your friends, and saving lives.
Right.
You're a medic. Ignore that.
You need to work on your satchel throwing skills. That's what I've learned.
I guess, yeah. Yeah.
All right, and the ones who have readiness 2 may improve it to 3 if they get 12 on their roll. So Sumawata first.
Ooh. Okay. 2d6, right?
Unmodified, 2d6, unmodified.
Unmodified. A 9. Ah.
Yeah. Bill S.
I got half. Does that mean I go up by half and my readiness is now 2.5? I got a 6.
2.5.
Oh, I did better than you. If that's the case, then I've got 3/4.
All
Good
right.
evening, Tony. Welcome for joining.
All right. So you guys don't improve. So we've
Thank
got
you for
Sumawata. She's still got readiness 2. Warren Brown has still got readiness 2. Stapleton has now risen to readiness 2. Bennett is still at 1. McPherson is still at 1. And Rashan, he's just new in theatre, so he's still at 1. So
speaking of which,
yeah,
if I
your
may,
character to the rest. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was curious about equipment, standard kit, and whatnot. I mean, do I carry a rifle
you'll
like
be
an
issued it when you
M4?
go outside the building. We'll tell you that.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, so Rashawn Stone is clearly a veteran. He's a lieutenant, as a matter of fact. Black dude, relatively stern, can be boisterous at times. Medium build, maybe a little bit larger than medium build, and he's been in for a few terms, so it's apparent he knows his stuff, and he's just surveying the area, trying to get a grasp of what's going on before he speaks.
Eddie's skills? Tell us about him.
What's that?
His skills. It says
Yeah,
expertise and familiarities. So expertise.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
I'm sorry. Yeah, his expertise is firearms. As you watch him survey various firearms that might be hanging around the area or whatever, it's obvious that he knows his way around his weapons. He's as far as familiarities go, hunting. What's so OBS tactical
Observation tactical, yeah.
observation
And
tactical,
personals,
right?
all right? So he can observe tactical situations and, this is a good spot for ambush and all the rest. And
Yeah,
observe
right.
people. So that little bit where I've even got it as a quote in the game. From Jason Bourne. I can tell you the license plate numbers of all 6
Right.
cars outside. I can tell you that our waitress is left-handed and the guy sitting up at the counter weighs 215 pounds and knows how to handle himself. I know the best place to look for a gun is the cab of the grey truck outside. That's observation.
I also know what was it? How far I can run at this
search.
elevation.
Well, yeah.
Right.
So the best place to look for a gun is search skill, but all the other things like the guy, he weighs 200 pounds, knows how to handle himself. That's observation skill, personal, and the license plate numbers of cars outside. That's tactical as well.
Okay.
But yeah, knowing the
And then
gun
this
will
is
be search skill, and then run flat out for half a mile before his hands start shaking. That's just having endurance.
right. And then I've got science and chemistry.
Yeah. You've just got knowledge of the principles of chemistry. So he's a lieutenant. So what happens is you have, with the games, you have career paths. So you join your army or police or whatever, or you can just do a degree. So you can do a degree separately by itself and then later join the army or police, or you can join the army and later go for a commission. If they give you a commission, what they do is they send you off to do a university degree for a term. And yeah, you go through uni and you just get whatever you roll up. You choose either humanities or science or vocational, and then you get whatever you happen to roll up, one of the 6. And he chose a science one, and he just happened to roll up science, chemistry.
Right. Maybe some work on the bomb squad temporarily or something like
well,
that.
he knows how explosives work.
Right.
Knowing how to make them is a different skill. It's a technician skill, which is what Ellen has got. She's Samawata's got demolitions. All right, but you know the principles. So, like, you pick up the piece of the explosive and you'll go, "Oh, this is so and so," and you know how it should be made in the lab. But actually, you could write out the equations on the paper, but that's different to actually doing it in the lab. It's like in Breaking Bad. Walter White, he's got science, chemistry, and technician drugs, whereas his young student, Jesse, is that his name? I can't remember. Jesse, anyway, the young guy.
Jesse Pinkman, yes.
Yeah, he eventually develops the technician. But if you're like, how do we improve this process? Walter White can tell you how to improve the process, but Jesse doesn't know. He just follows the procedure. So in your case, you've got it's two different people with the familiarities. So familiarity is just you do it for an hour or so a day for 3 to 6 months, and you're now familiar with that thing. And expertise is a global thing. If you get 3 or more familiarities in one area, it resolves into an expertise. So once you can have like firearms handguns, or firearms assault rifle, or firearms machine gun. But if you've got all 3, you don't need to go on a specific course for firearms, RPGs, and firearm and so on. You figure it out. And it's also
right. So
a +1 and a +3.
Right. So mostly he's got the theory with little practice.
Yeah. Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. And I realize now I forgot to choose because you get one background skill which is random, and then you get one of your choice that you you have after all your career and life path stuff. So we'll let you figure that out at a later point, because I realize now I've forgotten to put that in for him. But yeah, so he's expertise in firearms, so he'd be a crack shot with +3 in that. Okay, so this is that's Russia, and that's all the other guys. Let's just take that away. Okay, so as I said, left-hand side of the building is all the police. Right-hand side of the building is the PMC. In your movements around, you see some of the local police, but you don't talk to them much. No. At your commander, Lang, he's very displeased by your having been ambushed in the green zone. He's saying, you know, it's not really a green zone if people get ambushed in it. It's just not good enough. And he wants to know what the hell happened, because somebody must have known that you were coming. Like, I mean, anyone can see aircraft coming and going, but there's always aircraft coming and going. But to know that it was you guys, and or he doesn't know if you guys were the target or if the truck full of ordnance was the target. But either way, somebody's leaked something. So, you know, somebody's leaked something somewhere. There's something dodgy going on, and he wants to find that leak and plug it with a 7.62 millimeter. Yeah, how do you think? So that's basically your mission. And Roshan, you're former lieutenant. So Lang puts you in charge. He says, until I find somebody better, or you die.
Well, it's probably more likely you'll find somebody. It's probably less likely you'll find somebody better before I die. But I don't know what's up with this ragtag band you got assembled here.
He said, well, what's up with this ragtag band is that as we as we've reduced all the US forces and handed over to the UN, and the UN is woefully undersupplied and unmotivated to deal with these insurgent fucks, we're turning towards the free market and private options to get things done. That's what's up with this band. Perhaps you want to introduce yourself to them, and they can introduce themselves to you. So
yeah, it seems like they've seen some action.
Just today, in fact.
Well, a week ago.
Oh, it's a
Real
week
time.
now? Okay.
The in-game date is the 18th of October, 2023.
What's up, gents? Lieutenant Jones Stone. I was brought on the base here to see what's going on.
Well, right now, you know as much as we do. We got jumped rolling through the green zone. One Hummer took out RPGs, but, you know, those things are as common as clay bricks in this part of the world. Hell, in any part of the world. We got cut up pretty bad, but we made it out. Somebody arranged that little welcoming party for us, and I'd like to know who it was. I want to get. I want to talk to the local security forces and find out who was in that neighborhood, because when streets get quiet, you know something heavy is about to go down, and that street got quiet, which means at least somebody there knew what was going on. I want to find those people, and I want to lean on them. I saw it in Iraq. I saw it in Afghanistan. You lean on these people enough, or you give them enough of a reason otherwise, and they'll give you something.
Indeed. Well, you notice leadership stuff is more formality than anything. So I trust your judgment on this. You've been there and seen it. I'm the one who takes the blame.
Well, right now, I'm not looking to blame anybody except the bad guys. So let's find out who they are and where they were.
All right, so you can talk to the head of the Dust Capitals Police. So that's Colonel Shah.
All right.
And Colonel Shah is like he's of a slightly different ethnicity to most of the locals. He's from some ethnic minority. That's why the government trusts him, because he has something to lose. Remember that the dictator, the democratically elected leader of Palmiristan is because of his style of leadership. It's a classic thing. You surround yourself with minorities. Like Putin over in Russia has got Shoigu, who's from Tuvan, because the Russians would never accept a Tuvan leader. So he knows he can trust him. Shoigu won't attempt a coup. So it's the same thing with Shah here, because he's of Hindu heritage. They want or something, Pakistani, you don't know, but he's not Tajik. So he trusts him.
All right. Well, I'd like to set up a meeting with him if possible.
Yeah. Well, you could just walk across to the other side to the police station.
How is the relations between our section and the police normally? Are they're friendly?
Well,
they're ambivalent?
You're Siamese twins. You're in the same building. There's just a stairwell that separates you.
That doesn't mean they like us.
What have they done for us lately?
Okay, Miss Jackson.
All right. McPherson and Sumawata, I want you guys to pull maps of the green zone neighborhood that we got jumped in, and I want a write-up on all routes in and out. I want to know, just get the latest satellite info. I want to see the location of every doghouse, cat house, outhouse, and hen house within a 5-block radius where we got bounced.
Channeling Tom Lee Jones there.
Yes, I was.
I'm gonna go.
Come on,
and
Brown.
I'm going
More
to
paperwork.
Crawl up their asses to get all of that information and more.
You shouldn't have to, but Stone, Sullivan, you're coming with me. We're gonna meet. I'm sorry, Kyle. Player forgot what is the police chief. We're gonna go,
Colonel Shah.
we're gonna go talk to Colonel Shah and see exactly what trees we're allowed to shake.
Hey, sorry, Bill. Which guy are you?
McPherson. Oh well, which Bill? We're Bill Square.
Yeah, well, I saw it. Yeah. I'm Bill too. There's like 3 Bills in this game, which is ridiculous.
You're not Bruce,
Use
man.
initials
That
for
caused a
last
bit of confusion.
names. BS, B, whatever.
See, this is why in the army everyone's referred to by their surnames.
So you were Bennett, Bill? S.
McPherson. Oh, sorry. Jeez. It's so hard, man. I'm sorry. I'll stop doing it.
I paused between Bill and the S.
Yes,
Just
I am.
call yourselves by your character names. It's more immersive that way.
Yes, I am. I'm Bennett. Hey, Bennett.
Yeah, I'm right behind you, Bennett. I'd like to see a little bit about how you operate anyway.
You're not Bennett.
Oh.
Bill Sylvie, you're Warren Brown.
Oh, Brown. I'm sorry, Brown.
Uncle
Bennett Brown.
Bennett.
Notepad. I did to Brown. All right. So
Uncle
let's
Brown.
let's go see Shaw.
Bennett is now an NPC.
Right.
Let's roll, Brown.
All right, Sullivan, come along.
All right.
Okay, yep. So you go and see Shah. He keeps you waiting, but you can see like the building's like old school kind of building. Like it's, you've got the wood panels everywhere, and then between the offices, there's the weight from waist or hip height. There's the glass.
Okay.
And with the commander's one, there's frosted glass. Other people have got clear glass, but the colonel's one's got frosted glass. But I mean, his door's physically open. You hear it when you walk in. You know, there's some police secretary there, and you see Shah's on the phone. It's a really old phone with a rotary dial, and he's holding a piece of paper and he's shouting at somebody in Pamiri. He's not very happy.
Have we met him before today? We've been here a week.
No.
First time we've
No,
met him?
he's stayed on his side of the building. But he presumably will know who you are by your manner of dress and all the rest. I mean, you're private military contractors. You all dress the same. You all wear khakis and polos, and you have hair that's like 2 weeks out of a high and tight. You know, so
Khakis, polos, and a khaki vest with a million pockets. That's us.
Yep.
yep. And even like 10 years after you're out, people will still recognize you as anyone who's been in or has had family that's been in will recognize you as ex-military, as much as you try to conceal it. So,
all right, so we'll patiently wait for the good colonel to finish.
Yeah, he finishes and he slams down the phone angrily with what is very obviously a profanity in Pamiri. And he looks over at you guys, and he doesn't look angry or unwelcoming or anything. He just says, "What can I do for you?"
Good afternoon, Colonel. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to talk to us. I'm Brown, and these are my associates, Sullivan and Jackson. I'm sorry, Stone. These are my associates, Sullivan and Stone. We rolled in a week ago. We were caught up in that little fracas in the green zone, and I was kind of hoping you could help us out with some information gathering.
Yeah, he's there. So, what do you need? I mean, your side of the building is going to have all the comms intercepts.
Yes, sir. I understand that. I'm looking for something a little bit more shoes on the ground. If we could, may we have a seat?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now I'm sure you're just as aware as I am that when things go quiet, things go bad. If your men are walking down a street where you can buy anything from a mobile phone to 6 metric tons of honeycomb, and there's not a soul in sight, something pretty heavy is about to happen. And well, that's exactly the kind of situation that we rolled into a week ago. Yeah. I'd like to know a little bit about the neighborhood, about the people, residential, business, mix.
Well,
there.
Well, most of the people here work for the non-government organizations, for the UN, for us, for you.
Okay.
Most of the people within the green zone work here. It wouldn't be healthy for them to be living outside the green zone, and they come to work here every day.
I get it. Have you got any that you're willing to discuss? Have you got anybody in that neighborhood maybe you've just kind of wanted to keep a little bit extra eye on every now and again?
Well, yeah, we've got that prisoner that you took.
And he's from there. He's from that neighborhood.
Well, I mean, he was severely wounded. Somebody threw a satchel charge at him, apparently. So he hasn't been very talkative, but we've got him downstairs, he says. And when you hear downstairs, your little shiver goes through your spine, because it's downstairs of the Das Kapital police, and downstairs is the basement where the Public Protection Bureau works.
Things that the State Department never wants.
Nothing good happens down there.
Yeah. Where things go on that the State Department absolutely never wants committed to paper or electronic document.
Nope.
And I guess, despite all the sweating, he hasn't said anything yet.
Well, he was severely wounded. As I said, somebody threw a satchel charge at him. So I don't think he's been physically capable of saying much. We could go and have another look if you want.
I'd love to. Do you have it? Do you have his ID card? Anything like that?
No, he doesn't have his ID card, and we don't have his prints on record in that, and we haven't been able to find out his name or anything. But it's only been a week.
Sure. And just, Colonel, just so we're absolutely clear, I'm not over here busting your chops. I'm casting a wide net, and I'm trying to gather info as best I can. The dust is barely settling on this thing yet, and I got, you know how it goes. It rolls downhill, and it's rolled onto me. So, yeah, let's go see our lucky satchel charge prize winner for the week, and see if he's awake and willing to talk.
Okay. All right. So you go downstairs. You go past many offices and some police barracks and so on.
To be fair, I was just giving it back.
Where everything seems fairly well ordered and all the rest. And then you come to a door that's got a couple of heavily armed police guards on it, and they're all wearing, they've got vests on, and they got AKs and helmets and all the rest. And it's this big iron door with a big lock, and they see the colonel, and their heels come together and they stand up straighter, and he just gestures, and one of them turns around, takes the keys off, and unlocks the door. And there's this creak, and you see some stairs down, and you see a flickering fluorescent light just flickering on and off, and you hear a drip, 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 and this horrible stench comes up from below. The smell of mold and human excrement and so on. The smell of suffering.
All right.
And Shah strides on in. He's not disturbed by this. He strides on down.
He's responsible for most of this, so yeah. All right, I'm right behind him.
Okay. So yeah, you stride on down, goes down some stairs, and they turn around, and there's this. You go past, and you hear some cries of misery and so on. And you glance through. There's a door, and then it's a long corridor, and there's a number of cells, and there's a door with a small cell, and there's obviously too many people packed into one cell. On your immediate left. It's probably like a 2-man cell, and there's at least 12 people in there. And they're obviously jostling around and trying, somebody's trying to sleep or whatever, and all the smell from there. You go past a couple like that, a couple of cells like that, and then there's no more doors for a little while, and it eventually opens up further into a wider area, wider, and there's a couple of guards standing around, and then there's one at a desk with a little light over it. The fluorescent lights, by the way, have got little cages over them. And so so it goes up to the desk, and he says something in Pamiri to the guard there, and the guard just gestures down there. And there's a little door, and it says it's got Cyrillic writing on it, but there's also a green background with a white cross on it, so that you figure that must be the infirmary. And,
does it say infirmary? Because I do have Russian.
Yes, it says infirmary. Yes,
just making sure.
Yeah. All right, and he, but it's not a proper professional sign. It's like you didn't get the sign writer from upstate New York to do this.
Yeah.
It's like some guard with a crayon or whatever did it. It's a very sloppily done sign. And Shah goes and he opens up the door, And inside, it looks a little bit better than the rest. You see this green linoleum, though it's a bit torn, and the fluorescent lights here are not flickering. In fact, they're extremely bright. And you see all the usual accoutrements of a hospital ward with the the curtains that are on rails and all the rest, and people on drips and so on. And there's a guy there's a couple of guys lying in beds, but there's one who immediately draws your attention. You don't recognize him as such, but he's lying in bed and he's covered with bandages. He's got bandages all over him, including on half of his face, and he shackled to the bed, very thoroughly shackled to the bed with pads on it. Not pads, but like cuffs. Like if this were a civilized country, these would be padded cuffs so that if he doesn't hurt himself if he's trying to escape restraint. But here they're just metal cuffs.
Right on.
We're in the ZFG zone now, there's somebody who's obviously a doctor and somebody who's obviously a nurse.
Okay.
Doctor's just sitting there, tapping away at a computer with green writing on the screen. And has got a pile of papers. And the nurse is like turning someone over and washing them.
I asked Colonel quietly, does the doctor speak English?
He says, yeah, he says. Yeah.
Doctor, pardon me for bothering you today. Mr. Brown, these are my associates. This is Mr. Stone, Mr. Sullivan. We've got a few questions for this prisoner. Is any condition to be brought conscious and talk?
And he says, well, he's not really ready to be brought conscious. And Shah says, wake him up. And the doctor says, oh, but if I were to, to do that, it might worsen his condition. And Shah says, wake him up.
How's it worse than this?
The doctor goes over and one of you's basically a physician. Which one is that?
McPherson's the medic.
McPherson. Yeah, you're not there, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm with Sapphire.
All right. So nobody
with Simrawada.
All right. But yeah, you could see the little bottle that he's drawing out of Sullivan because you're not literate in Russian actually, so you can read basic signs like infirmary, but you won't be able to read things like pharmaceuticals. You won't be able to read that.
Yeah, I have problems with those in English. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he draws something out of there and he jabs it into the guy's arm, and the guy's sort of lying there peacefully. Sort of comes awake and his eyes are wide open and his pupils are dilated.
Good morning. I'd like to ask you a few questions if you've got a minute.
Shah will interpret for you.
Okay. As I'm sure you're probably aware by now, the assault on the United States Marine Corps convoy inside the Green Zone was a failure on the part of you and your fellows. I'm going to make this quick. I know you must be in a terrific amount of pain right now. Please give me the name and location, or at least insofar as you can remember, of everyone who planned this organization, who gave you your orders, and who armed you, where you got your supplies, and where I might find them.
Well, Shah says, I'll say all that, but first I'm going to ask him his name.
Oh, of course.
And the guy replies with what his name is. He's obviously as well as really super alert. Doc gave him a shot of adrenaline, but it's, as well as super alert, the guy's obviously in a lot of pain and absolutely terrified because he just like this is the first time he's woken up since being RPG'd. He doesn't know where he is.
Charged.
Or being sexual charged, yeah. He doesn't know where he is or what's going on. And there's this burly guy with a big bushy moustache speaking to him. And he's somewhere which smells really bad. The smell of the rest of the prison is wafting into the room through the open door. And he can hear distant cries. So he's absolutely terrified. This is what they call capture shock.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy starts speaking faster than Shark and ask him questions. But how useful is he? Well, how useful is it? Roll 2d6.
Alrighty here. By the way, to my fellow players and audience and game master, I'm not trying to do main character syndrome. Any of you guys that want to pipe in with anything, please do.
Yeah, I'm still observing.
Yeah. I would ask Shaw, considering he's from the police department, on a long shot, has anyone come looking for anybody, like looking for him, like missing or anything like that? Has anybody come looking for this guy to the police? Just a long shot.
Oh, I didn't come looking. Yeah. So I'll just tell you guys because it's from the rules, and it may be of interest to you players and some of the listeners. Immediately after capture, most PWs, prisoners of war, will suffer capture shock, not knowing whether their captors will torture them or simply shoot them out of hand. Given time and kind treatment, this will fade. However, it is not a war crime to fail to reassure the PW. Practices such as binding and hooding them, separating them from any fellow PWs who might otherwise provide moral support, not speaking to them as they're transported away from the place of capture, and not responding to requests for reassurance, all these will prolong capture shock. It is up to players whether their adventurers break in this circumstance, but non-adventurers suffering capture shock will be at -3 to resist speaking up during any use of interview expertise by a captor, adjusted by their readiness. With kind treatment and the company of fellow PWs, capture shock will fade in 1d6 hours. With proper PW detention, this treatment will take 66 hours. Cool.
Oh my God,
yeah.
man.
Now,
Wow.
So this, and it goes on to say this is why torture is ineffective in that, because basically dudes are going to spill in a day. They're going to spill everything they know in the first day if you do that. And you don't have to do anything horrible. You could just let their imagination do it. It's the old, like the horror movie. The monster is actually scarier when you just hear it slithering around in the attic or whatever than when it's right in front. There's the jump scare when it's right in front, but then after that, okay, now I can punch Nyarlathotep, or I can shotgun blast the xenomorph or whatever. You feel that you can deal with it when it's right in front of you, but when it's unknown, that's So this guy is demonstrating because your characters, especially the ones who've been commandos, will have gone through escape and evasion courses. So you know what capture shock is. This guy is demonstrating that in spades. He's absolutely terrified. And as I said, he'll tell you everything he possibly can.
Yeah. I don't know how reassuring this will be, but I would like to say I apologize for the whole satchel incident, but you should really pay attention where you leave your explosives before hitting the detonator.
Not to mention he needs to get his stuff together. Come on, man. Take the pain.
What was his buddy who triggered the detonator?
Oh.
His buddy was reduced to pink mist.
Sorry about your friend.
all right. So
he was saved by you shooting him. See,
so
you shot him and he fell down before he could get through the doorway where the satchel charge landed, and then was detonated by his buddy.
Well, you're welcome.
So
okay.
he just got some shrapnel from it. All right. So
this guy's giving up the goods.
This guy talks. none of the locals were involved and or knew what the hell was going on. Basically, they just held people at gunpoint so they could move through their apartments and up onto roofs of the building and so on. They smuggled weapons into the green zone in the usual way, just on the underside of vehicles and by bribing the odd sloppy guard or going, we'll go in that guard. That guy's always on his laptop surfing Facebook. So we'll go when he has his Wednesday afternoon shift. We'll go in through there. So a lot of it was just the sloppy security that you get after when there's been like 6 months since the last incident or whatever.
Okay.
And that's how they smuggled their weapons in. As for knowing when and where and what their target was, he said that the target was both you guys and the ordnance.
Okay. Where'd you get your orders?
He said, "Well, I got my orders from the guy who blew himself to pink mist. I got my orders from him. I don't know where he got it from. They're part of the squad of Righteous Fury. They're not another group.
That's convenient.
Group or anything like that." He said, "But yeah, so yeah." And as for who gave them the information of when you were coming and who it was and that there'd be an ordnance truck and that, well, roll 2d6.
Did he say where they planned this at?
8.
8. Yeah, they planned it in a little village that's about 10 kilometers outside Das Kapital.
Excellent. Now we're getting somewhere. You got family there?
Yes, he says, and he looks very, very frightened when you say that, because he knows how the police work here.
Brown, you believe in this guy? He's telling you that the guy got incinerated, that he was following orders from, and he didn't know nothing beyond that.
Well,
yeah.
let's give this young man the benefit of the doubt.
I agree. He always knows the waterboard's waiting for him.
All right.
He also did give us a where.
Says,
there might be more.
Charles says trust but validate. I've no reason not to believe him, but you always look for more and more pieces of evidence that support or contradict what you've got.
Okay. Do either one of you gentlemen?
He said, what I was told is that we had someone on the inside who was passing us information.
On the inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
How often did you get bits of information?
He said, I don't know. I didn't get told the information. I just got told where to go and what to do. But I was told by my now pink mist commander that we had someone on the inside of you guys giving us information. It was either you guys or the US military who was passing us information.
Okay. Colonel, do you have any questions for him?
He says, no, I'll get one of my juniors to
Sure.
him properly later.
Sullivan? Stone? Either of you gentlemen?
No, I got nothing for this guy.
Okay.
This stinks to high heaven, though.
Of course.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. Colonel, could you translate one more thing, and then I think we're done here. Yeah. I'm gonna squat down next to the gurney, and I'm gonna tell him, I'm gonna go to that little village, and I'm gonna see what I can shake out. And if I see a BB gun pointed at me or the rest of my team, I'm gonna pick up your whole family. And I'm going to dig into some books that were written by the Defense Intelligence Agency about 40 years before you were born that the U.S. Department of Justice, Department of State, and Executive Branch don't know a single thing about, or if they do, they'll disavow them. Get some rest. I've got a feeling you're going to need it. Let's go.
He's not going to sleep for a while after what the doc gave him, and after an encounter with you guys.
All right, let's head back. I want to find out what McPherson and Simulwada have been able to dig up.
So, field trip.
Okay, Samada and McPherson, what have you guys been doing?
Oh,
Well,
I've been digging in the computers.
Okay. Well, Bennett is still around with you guys, so he'll watch over your shoulder and provide. He doesn't know anything, but he'll provide smart-ass remarks from time to time.
That's good. At least we got some good company.
Dig into the computers. Okay, what are you looking at specifically? Because
I mean, we were technically I was given instructions on what to focus on, so that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. What are you wanting them to focus on? Because like you've got the PMCs, the comm center in that, and you've got full access to that, and you've got experts there. So it's just, what are you looking for? Because if it's there, you'll find it.
Well, the background on the group that attacked us. What
The
we
Squad of
want
Righteous
to-
Fury are an insurgent group that want to overthrow Frank.
But specifically
They're
where
a
we were
nationalist.
targeted.
Oh, why you were targeted?
Yep.
Well, the most obvious reason you target is you're another PMC group coming in, and the theory would obviously be if they keep kicking over everyone who comes in, then that discourages others from coming in. Because, as I said,
Well,
at this time,
obviously
the
knew
US is
something
gradually
about us.
withdrawing forces, and that leaves the UN forces, which are undermanned and undermotivated. So all that's coming in that's really dealing with the Squad of Righteous Fury is the local security forces, who may or may not be motivated, but they're locals, and the private military corporations. So if they can,
Well, they knew
reduce the amount of
specifically
PMCs
we were
coming
going to. We were going to be there at that time. So
Yes.
how did they knew that? How did they know that?
well, they've either got somebody on the inside, or they're listening to your comms, or they have been, watching carefully the airport and then reporting on that, because like the airport just had a cyclone wire fence around it with barbed wire on top. Obviously, if you're right next to the cyclone wire fence, one of the airport security guys is going to come and have a chat to you. But if you're some distance away out in the field or wherever, looking through binoculars, you'd be able to see vehicles being loaded and unloaded, or aircraft being loaded and unloaded, and people coming and going, and you'd be able to radio ahead. But of course, they would have to have some people ready to go at that moment.
Yeah, I'm going to.
With
I'm going
like
to assume.
like 30 minutes notice.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that while they could observe, the odds of them having people ready that quickly are pretty minimal. And
In the green zone, yes.
And the fact that they've probably cracked our code is pretty minimal. So I'm going to go with the assumption that it's an internal leak, and that's the route I'm going to follow.
Yep.
Maybe say Sumawada. Maybe you want to check on see if anybody's got some personal message that may have gone in or out of the computers. I don't know how these damn things work. I work on people, but you know what I mean? Maybe somebody sent an email outside.
So let's check for leaks. Let's check for code, anything like that could go external that might have triggered it.
Okay, so the easiest thing for you to check, because you can't go straight into the US military system, so the easiest thing for you to check without having to talk to some US military guys is the local mobile phone tower at the airport. And there were a number of calls that were placed from the various aircraft around the ground at that time, just at the time of you guys landing. Now, there will have been a few people calling to say, yeah, I've just landed in Dusk Cup Atoll, and calling their mum back home and that sort of thing. So yeah, who here made a call back home?
I ain't got anybody.
So you go through it and you see like there's no pings from around of like the ground staff. And when you inquire, you find that the ground staff are not allowed to carry around mobile phones and stuff with them. When they come on duty for the day, they have to hand them into the U.S. military, the checkpoint there, and then they get them back at the end of their workday. So, and you don't get any pings from them moving around. Indeed, when you look at the live system, you don't see any moving around. When you track it and you match it up with a CCTV and that, you see that the only pings are like pilots, aircraft pilots, and some of the people getting on and off the aircraft.
Okay, let's go beyond just plain mobile phones. What about satellite? What about computers, instant messaging, social media, anything that they can cloud it in?
Yeah. So follow it all up, and like I said, the best you can guess is there were 3 calls made from the vicinity of the aircraft within 15 to 20 minutes of your landing.
So
Hey,
we're down to 3. How do we filter those 3?
Say Sumawata, look at the area codes on the phones. Do they all match up, or is one of them different? You know what I mean? This guy, maybe whoever placed these calls, are they all from the same area?
Oh man,
All
this is
right,
killing
so
me
those-
because I have a
We're gonna
suggestion,
play
but I'm not
Sesame
there.
Street, huh?
The 3. Okay, so the 3 numbers. The 3 numbers are all registered in the United States.
Say,
Well, let's put
Alan,
the data on 3.
wasn't there like 2 crayon eaters and another guy there when we got off the plane?
Yeah, so you got off the plane and you went and checked with the U.S. military command, and there were a couple of grunts standing outside the building, and then there was a Colonel Donovan, and a bunch of clerks and things in there. That's the U.S. military command on the ground at the Air Force base. The airstrip.
What do you think about those guys, Alan?
I mean, no one's safe, so we have to investigate everything. We don't know. I mean, even the highest up could have pressure on them or have revealed something to a family member that has something on them. So we don't know.
How do you think we should approach this? Should we go and talk to the U.S. guys? I mean,
They're going to deny it, and they're going to get defensive. So no, we have to follow the electronic trail.
Are there any other calls from those phone numbers prior to us even landing, like within a week?
Let's pull the
well,
history
not
on the
here,
numbers.
no. Not here, no, and you don't have access to data outside the country.
Not within the country within the past week, huh?
Oh, okay. So no, like I said, 3 calls were made from the vicinity of the aircraft at the time. 2 of those phones are now somewhere within the green zone, and a 3rd is still at the airstrip.
Oh,
The one that's at the airstrip.
oh,
Let's look at that one a little bit closer.
Okay, yeah. That one, like I said, is registered in the United States, and right at this moment, it is right outside that military tent.
Let's pull the information on who it's registered to.
It's a burner.
Ooh. Well, that just got a little spicy.
Hmm.
A
The
US
ones that are in the
phone
green
number.
zone, let's pull just to make sure they're registered to people. If they're not burners, then we'll keep in the background, but I'm not going to be as concerned. But the one that's the burner is the prime suspect.
Okay, so about this point, the other three guys come over into the comms room. They smell a bit bad, as if they've been somewhere stinky.
Mm. You know they have showers here, right, guys? Just
Shut your face.
speaking as a physician, you might want to.
Oh, I plan to
Question out.
indulge at the earliest opportunity.
Anyway, what did you find out?
They got electric showers too.
What did
We're
you find
following
out?
up. We're following up, but there seems to be one that is on base. It's a burner phone. That is the most likely. There's two others that are back in the green zone, and we're following up just to make sure that they're registered to real people. But the burner on base is the one that personally I think is the one we should look at the most.
Let's pretend for a second that I just walked into the room. What burner? What are you talking about? Afterburner? Chafing dish burner? What?
Burner phone.
In here. Burner phone.
It's a
Great.
phone.
Awesome.
It's
That's
a
a step
phone.
forward. It's a phone. Lovely. What does this have to do with the price of tea in China? I asked you guys to look at some routes in and out of the green zone. Tell me what you found out.
At the time we landed, that would have been able to report to initiate the attack that happened.
Excellent. Where's this phone at?
Back at the airport.
Let's pull up those cords.
All right.
Hey, when was the last incident that happened around here in the green zone?
About 6 months ago. And
Can
that
you
was
pull back?
That was a more minor incident.
Yeah.
There was just an attempted bombing in a marketplace, but they had pinged it and it didn't go off. Sorry, it went off, but it didn't kill anyone.
I was curious if we could go back to the phone records for around that time and see if there's any like phone numbers that match that were busy at that time. To see if like it's been repeated over and over.
The local comms guys can tell you that it tends to only be local chatter that they listen to, because the actual squad of Righteous Fury seem to have pretty good OPSEC in that, or SIGSEC that they don't. They don't use mobile phones and things like that, except as remote control detonating devices. Simply because they know that's a strength of their opposing force. So they tend not to do that.
I look at them and say, what do they use?
They use word of mouth, and they use written coded messages and one-time pads and all that sort of stuff. So it slows everything down, which is one reason they haven't been able to take over the whole country. But it also means that they haven't been crushed like a bug.
So it's non-tech. Okay.
Yeah. So
Keeps it quiet.
when the pings tend to come from just local civilians and their chatter, because of course there are things that the local civilians will discuss amongst themselves that they won't necessarily tell to the security forces. So you get a lot of intel that way. And of course, the squad of Righteous Fury guys have family members who do use mobile phones. So by watching where they go and what they're doing, kind of sometimes pick things up.
Do they have a guide or like a Bible or something that has all like the different signs or stuff that they've accumulated so we know what we're looking for?
Yeah. They've got a fair bit. And it can at least tell you if it's something new or something different. This burner phone that you're talking about at the airport was bought 2 weeks ago. So it was bought like a week before or a few days before.
So
you
is it
flew over.
active, and can we pinpoint where it is at this moment?
It is active, but only dimly, and it's like I said, it's just outside the U.S. military tent. It hasn't moved. It hasn't moved a whole lot. It hasn't moved more than about 20 meters in the last week, and it also hasn't been used in the last week.
Well, let's coordinate our GPS maps that we have to the coordinates of the phone, and let's pinpoint where it's at so we can.
Yeah, like I said, you
See
can get
where-
within 10 meters, so it will be somebody who, or the phone at least, whether it's attached to a person or not is another matter, but the phone at least will be in or around or on that military tent or the adjacent hangar, U.S. military hangar that's there.
So it's a hangar. Give us the deets on the hangar, and
Okay, so like I said,
in and out of there and everything.
Like I said a couple of weeks ago, so you've got you've got a military hangar, and it occasionally has U.S. aircraft in it, cargo aircraft, not fighters or bombers or whatever, cargo aircraft, and it's got a lot of stores in it and so on. And there's attached to the hangar is a little, it's kind of like a tent, but it's a reinforced tent. You know, it's designed to be up for months at a time, and that's where you met the two Marines outside the tent, and then there was some Clarks and Colonel Donovan inside, and then behind that tent and the hangar is a bigger one. It's a barracks. It's the Marines barracks. That's at for the Air Force, and then there's vehicles around. The vehicles go in the hangar too, Hummers and stuff. It's from there that the Hummers that you had and the truck that you had came.
Should we maybe go check this place out? I also think maybe we want to requisition maybe a civilian vehicle for this excursion. What do you guys think?
Well, we definitely should check it out, but we should also definitely let everyone know, well, every American here know where we're going. Quite frankly, I'm not going to run off and play A-Team Special Forces in the middle of a hostile city without anybody knowing where we went.
I'd also
Been there,
like to
done
know,
that, Ray Brown.
Fair
do we
enough.
have the ability to have a record of personnel coming and going at specific times that we can cross-check when this phone was active and moving? So we might be able to eliminate certain personnel and highlight
Well, there's
personnel
bound
we
to be a
need
duty
to
roster.
review.
Yeah,
Should
there'll
be
be
a
a duty
duty
roster
roster
for
who's
the
on.
Marines. Yeah, and it will say that Private Jones or whatever that was on from 0600 to 08 to 1800 or whatever. There'll be a
Might
duty
have that
roster.
there.
Narrow it.
It's not there in your comms room. That'll be on the airport base.
Right.
Yes, you can get a vehicle. You'll be rather crammed in. Be a bit of a clown car with 6 of you. But yes, you can get a vehicle.
What kind of car?
You had to
get a
ask,
couple.
Jason.
Hey,
You
but
had
this
to
doesn't
ask.
daunt me. I'm like back in the day, we went to Gen Con with 6 guys in a Pinto. So
Yes, but you weren't all wearing Interceptor 4 and holding an M4 between your knees.
no, we weren't.
Chevy Cavalier.
This Jason is a former Soviet Union country, so it is of course a Lada.
Oh,
No.
You'd be better off walking.
so I should
So
bring the
there's
wind
the
up
green-
key in case it
There's
needs
the green
refuel.
zone, and then there's about 5 kilometers of open ground. It's not completely open. There's shacks, shanty towns, and so on, and goat herds and all the rest. And then there's the airport.
Listen, people, I need a loadout.
Yeah, Lang tells you that if you go outside the wire, so to speak, that you are required to be geared up. How heavily geared up is up to you, but you are required to wear body armor and carry a firearm of some kind.
Right, and I can
And
just
for
choose
God's
whatever.
sake, he says, carry some comms with you too, so we know what's going on. So
What do we want, people?
if you do things wrong, we know where to find the bodies. He said.
Definitely some walkie-talkies. We can at least.
All right,
spread out.
everybody.
Boots on comms.
Yeah, you can get little headset comms where you just speaking to them, and you'll be able to speak to one another freely, up to about 150 meters.
All right, everybody. Pull,
As long as you're not underground or something somewhere that interferes with the radio waves and that.
pull plate carriers, a long arm if you're qualified, and a sidearm.
It's Christmas, and I'm getting everything as well as explosives and tech.
Okay, yeah. So basically, you can be geared up as much as you want. It just slows you down.
I don't know. An Abrams tank moves at what, 66 kilometers an hour? You said whatever we wanted, Kyle.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm partial to the M4 carbine and the 6 hour P320 as a sidearm, bayonet, and a folding knife.
Bayonet. I love it. All right, so they'll give you a flak vest, which is class 2. So that's going to be good against a light pistol, a heavy pistol, shotgun, SMG, or a light machine gun. It just it won't be good against a machine gun or a rifle or assault rifle, which will just ignore the body armor. But yeah, they've got a flak vest. It's not the best, the tac vest, but yeah, the flak vest, class 2, and helmets, and they'll give you all M4s and a 1911 pistol.
Excellent. When you absolutely positively have to make a fist-sized exit hole in someone.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I want more.
McPherson would like to take a squad-sized first aid pack as well as an IFAK for himself.
Yep. Yeah, and everyone will have a bandage on them, and that it just counts as a level 1 first aid thing. But McPherson will have the level 2 version.
Can I get different levels of explosives and techs? I mean, I want plastic.
Lang
I want
says,
grenades. I want.
Can I not
between.
sit next to her?
Lang says, "What are you planning to do? I thought you were just going to go and talk to the guys at the airport."
Subtle. We're talking.
You can't be over prepared.
Yes, you can. Don't bring explosives.
Have we not learned from the tale of the pink mist?
Well, Lieutenant Reston Stone is in charge. What do you say? Can they bring explosives or not?
Well, I leave that up to Brown. He knows you a whole lot better than I do. You had some mishaps before.
No.
When I was coming up, they didn't even let you in here. You know what I mean?
I'll leave that up to Brown.
And what happened?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be prepared.
You seem a little bit erratic.
Third bill is role playing, not having the leadership skill pretty well. So I'll leave that up to other people.
All right. Anyway,
okay, so no explosives. All right.
No.
Let me put it to you this way. This is the only airfield that we need to get out of. Do not blow it up.
Yeah.
Don't worry. There's plenty of time for that later. Plenty of time for that later.
They might have some suicide vests, you know.
How about Toyota Hilux, Kyle?
Yeah, there are lots around in this country.
Well, what I'm saying is do we have access to?
Yeah.
All right, 2 Toyota Hilux then.
All right, and they all say DKP on the side in Cyrillic. Dust Capital Police.
It's
Okay,
better
so
than a Humvee, I guess.
No, it's not.
Humvee has
since
some armor on it.
Yeah.
No explosives. I will go with my tech. Can I get at least tech?
Well, that's technician. That means you know how to use them properly.
Yeah, but I want things to monitor and all that kind of thing.
No, communication.
She wants her iPad.
So you carry a proper signal system. So these guys have just got like the headset one, but you carry one that can communicate back with the PMC base, and we'll do encrypted comms and that. They're headset ones and not encrypted.
How about a tough book?
What are you going to write and put in your tough book?
No, I'm saying for her, for a Panasonic tough book.
Yeah, she can have one if she wants, but
all right.
Oh, dang straight, yeah.
How can you get any signal with it though? That's the thing.
Plus, in a pinch, you can stick it behind your plate carrier. It might soak an extra point of damage.
Oh, I got a satellite phone. I am hot spotting that baby.
Whack.
You have better
Yes,
you have better internet than I do here.
For a time, I had a tough book, and I read a review of it at one point where it mentioned there was an article. There was a soldier in Iraq who had tough book in his backpack, and when he got back, he was in a firefight, and when he got back to the base, there's this bloody great hole in the tough book. He'd been shot in the back, but not realized it. The thing had stopped it.
Oh, yeah.
So he wrote back to Sony and told them and said, it stopped the 762. And they said, we're very happy to hear that you're well, but this is not its recommended use. Well,
Panasonic, but yeah, no, that's a lovely story.
But notably, when I had my tough book, my youngest was like 12 or 18 months old, and at one point she had prized off several of the keys. So the tough book could stand up to bullets, but not to a toddler child.
Yeah.
They're more deadly. Anyway, so you guys burn off to the airport.
Alrighty.
Go along. All right. Wandering monster check. Random encounter.
And we got 2 of these vehicles. Who's driving what?
What is Righteous Fury?
Have you seen my insurgent bear?
Call it baddies. Monsters just sounds goofy.
Monster.
Who's driving these things?
I will.
Who has driving skill?
I do.
I'm not. I don't believe that I do.
Yeah, it's Landcraft. Yeah. Warren Brown has motorbike. He's driving.
That was close enough.
Hey, McPherson is Landcraft
McPherson,
Auto.
Oh yeah. I'll drive. Get in, everybody.
Everyone
Yeah.
can.
We got 2 of these things right there.
Zero.
I'm jumping in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get a bonus for. It's like me. I think I have 0 driving skill, but I just drive to and from school and local shops and stuff. So a path that you're familiar with, and you drive in a cautious manner, and all the rest, you get some bonuses. So that's why I don't have car crashes. But if it was like rainy and I had to go, go on a tight turn in that rain at speed or whatever, that's it. I'm gone. So,
Well, you also don't have to worry about wandering monsters.
yes, this is true. What was the wandering monster check?
Well, I guess we could. Whoever wants to drive in the rear vehicle, you can just follow me.
Yeah, I'll follow you, because Sumaracha said she's going with you, and she scares me. So
She's not all that bad. You just have to stay away from the team.
she just loves
It's a
the
biter, that one.
explosives a little too much.
I'd like to ride shotgun in one of these if you don't mind.
You're with me then, Stone.
Everybody likes the
All right,
redhead. What
Brown.
are you talking about?
All right, and so Bennett will go with whoever, he doesn't care.
Okay.
And he's muttering to himself, and he's saying, whichever bastard has betrayed us, I'm going to slot him.
Wow.
You got to find them first.
Yep. Alrighty, so you come up to the, you go through uneventfully. You burn along the road with all the dust kicking up, and then you come up to the airport. There's Marines at the airport and local security forces mixed. Frankistan National Defence Force guys, and they got all sandbags and a little tower and all the rest. And they see you. They don't record who comes and goes. They just see you, that you're not locals. They wave you through. You come through. You go over to the US military area, and it's just as I described before. There's the big hangar. There's an aircraft in there. There's a number of vehicles. There's people loading and unloading vehicles. There's the command tent, which is right next to it, and the barracks tent, which is behind it. And the command tent has got a couple of armed Marines standing in front of it. Actually, both of whom you recognise. They just happen to be the same guys on duty.
I look over at McPherson. Play nice. Do not do the crayon thing again.
Okay, all right. I guess I'll let it slide this time.
And you see their names. You've got Jones and Wyszynski.
Oh.
Left and right. Wyszynski is the one who got insulted.
I'll pull the Toyota, I guess, next to the tent. Get out, shut off the ignition, and get out.
Yep. And they just sort of nod as you come along.
Oh, howdy, guys. How's it going today?
Hot, they say.
Yeah, definitely hot. It doesn't really change around here, does it?
Sometimes it's dusty.
So, say, I was wondering, who would I talk to find the personnel records from around here at your station?
Colonel, he says.
Oh, okay.
He's got
all
his
right.
He's got his M4 hanging on a sling, and he just has one hand on it while he goes with his right hand, takes his hand off the pistol grip, points back. Colonel.
Hey, Stone, you wanna come meet this guy?
Sure thing.
All right. Sumawada, you wanna maybe see if you're getting anything back from your laptop on that phone?
Heck yeah. Let's pull up and run it wide open to see what I can find.
Yeah, Bennett leans over to you and he says, "I know how to scare the bastards. We can do that. That's the way to do it. Put the fear of God into the bastards."
Soon, big guy. Soon, and he pats him on the chest.
He's got the presence, intimidation, familiarity, and he's keen
I give
to
him
use
the
it.
thumbs up while I'm poking away at my laptop.
He's our owlbear.
Right.
So what we got here, McPherson?
Well, they say the duty roster's inside, so I was thinking, who else should we get to come inside and meet everybody else in there?
Well, I ain't seen your specialties in action.
I guess. Hey, Brown, do you wanna you and Stapleton wanna take along too?
Oh, sure.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody's got to be the lead voice.
Voluntold.
All right.
Somebody got to be the lead voice and do the reaction roll.
Who has a better reaction than I do? I'm at 1.
No, reaction.
one.
No, not
Reaction-
that kind of reaction.
reaction roll, as in, to see if Donovan likes you or not and is inclined to help you or not.
All right.
None of you have got a speech kind of skill or whatever.
Okay.
The closest is McPherson having leadership, where he might, possibly be taken a bit more seriously by a colonel.
Wait, you have leadership?
Okay, sure.
Where are we not
Yeah,
letting
he
you do
was-
all this?
He was made McPherson. He was made corporal.
And
I'm
I
staying in
stand
the
back
car.
menacingly.
Right.
He knows how to be a leader. Whether he chooses to do it or not is up to him, but he knows how to.
2d6 on this one, Kyle.
Yeah. So you just go up and say hello to the colonel.
Got a 9.
9. Okay. Does that include the +1 from leadership?
Got a 10.
Appealing as a fellow fellow person in command. Yeah. So he's inclined to help you, and he says, "Yeah, sure. You know what's going on. Do you lay out the situation to him or what?"
Yeah, I said, hey, we've got a little bit of intel that we were ambushed on the way to our HQ, and we have a little intel that there might be a mole somewhere around here, and we're hunting moles. You wouldn't happen to have a duty roster at all, would you?
What you're saying that like one of my Marines may have betrayed us to these commie bastards?
No. Just I'm just saying that we have a lead and we need to check a couple things out. I was wondering if you'd be kind enough to just share us the duty roster so that we can cross a couple names off our list. That's all. Got to be thorough around here, you know.
All right, he says. Yeah, and he gives you the duty roster.
Sure. Okay.
Well done, McPherson.
What's up, Stone?
What's up? Well done, man.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Pats you on the shoulder as he brings the duty roster out to Sumerwada to check it with whatever she's got on her computers.
Cross-reference
Yep.
it with
I
the phone
take it,
calls.
and
What are you
and
looking for,
and
Simwater?
Well, I'm looking for the burner phone times that these personnel have been on base and anything like that, what their hours are, so I can eliminate people and narrow it
The
down
burner,
to
the
a
burner phone, like you. So you're sitting in the Toyota, which is right next to the command tent. The burner phone is within 10 meters of you.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it doesn't
say
have
10
GPS
meters.
on it. It's
Look
obviously not a
around.
smart. It's obviously not a smartphone, and the records seem to indicate it's not a smartphone. Burners usually are.
Okay, I'm going to
and-
say, hey, I'm gonna look this, but it's 10 meters, it's active. Grab the team and do some recon here.
Well, it's not 10 meters behind you or to either side because there's nobody there, unless somebody's buried it under the asphalt or something.
Well, no, but I mean, if we can physically find it and put
It's 2
some
meters
eyes
to your
on it from
front,
a
so
distance.
it's either one of those two Marines in front of you, or it's somebody immediately inside the tent, like within 1 or 2 meters of the edge.
Why don't you just dial it and listen for the ring?
Hey, that's a good idea.
Let's
Give that a
let's
shot.
Do it.
All
Let's do it. Say, listen for the ring and let's snab.
All right. So you dial it, and the two Marines are standing there, and then you see Wychinski looks all confused and surprised.
That's our man.
It's always
Snag
the
him.
crayon eater.
Reaches back into his little backpack. He takes
I'll
his little
disconnect
backpack off,
as when he grabs it.
and like he's rummaging through his pack, and he pulls out a smartphone, and he looks at the smartphone. He sort of shakes his head, and then he slips that in his pocket, and he keeps rummaging through his pockets, through his pack some more, and then he pulls out this little dumb phone, and he looks at that, and he looks up and he says something to Jones, and at this point Bennett walks over to him.
You might want to bring friends.
Bennett walks over to him and surprises him.
Oh God.
Oh no.
And
Bye.
surprises him and punches him in the throat.
Holy.
Yes.
punches him in the throat.
That'll
Wyszynski-
surprise somebody. Yeah.
At least it's to character.
Surprise.
Yeah.
And then for good measure, he grabs when he falls down, he grabs him by the head and he smacks the head into the ground. But that doesn't do much because
Bennett, we need to talk to him.
And then
leave the head intact.
Yeah,
and kicks him in the leg as well while he's down on the ground.
Use a sedative,
So it's-
dude. You're a man.
I think McPherson's gonna jab him with some quick acting morphine or something, real quick. A tranquilizer. I'm gonna just give him a quick tranquilizer shot.
Are you
right
talking
to
about the
ass.
Marine or Bennett?
Bennett?
Bennett.
Bennett is just shouting abuse at the guy. He's obviously attempting it. He's instinctively doing an intimidatory posture, though doesn't need to. And Jones is surprised, but as he comes out of his surprise, he's raising his M4 and he's saying, stand down, back away from Wyszynski, you son of a bitch, stand down, or I will fucking shoot you.
I poke my head out and say, "Yeah, that phone indicated. Yeah, he's on the take. He's not one of us, dude."
No, no. We're not.
All right. So
This the way you ran this squad, Brown.
Surprise
No wonder
round.
you guys got cut up.
Surprise round is over. What are you guys doing?
I'm going to go over and I'm going to I'm going to attack Bennett to make him stop.
Yeah, you try to grapple him or
Just whatever. If he's not stopping with that, I will. I'll butt stroke him. I'll go over there and
smack him one.
face meet Mr. Tubular Steel.
So that's what butt stroke means. Okay, got it.
Yes.
That's a whole different stream, dude.
Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's.
I was gonna shoot him with a
Take
tranquilizer.
the butt of a rifle.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
I'm gonna just straight up tell Jones what's going on. It's like, hey, we traced a burner phone to this location, and it was in your buddy's pack.
And he's just shouting, "Stand down! Stand down!"
All right. So yeah, I go over there.
Back the fuck away, and while he's doing that, he just sort of presses a little radio sort of thing, and he's alert, we've been attacked, and you hear shouts from inside the command tent, and an alarm gets hit. Alarm gets hit in the hangar and everything, and lights start shining, and there's a lot of motion around, but nobody comes out and immediately starts shooting at you or anything like that.
You're right. Bring everybody. They need to know this.
And the colonel comes out and is going, "What the hell is going on?"
Well, I think we should probably maybe.
And
deal with this
Wyszynski's lying on the ground, goes. His lips are turning blue.
Do something, McPherson.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit Stu Bennett with a nice shot of
No,
tranquilizer.
for the Marine
leadership. Talk to somebody.
Oh,
because you have the leadership skill. I don't.
Right.
And I'm going to point my M4 at Bennett's head and tell
I'm
him
gonna
to
let
calm
him know.
down.
Well, we thought we found our mole.
Okay, so Bennett backs off, but Jones won't let you approach the casualty unless you do a leadership role to say,
Sure,
persuade him otherwise.
Now would be a great time for a high leadership role.
I'll roll leadership to try and stop this guy from asphyxiating to death.
Mm-hmm.
2d6 + 1.
Otherwise, Kyle's going to have to shift gears on his campaign to 5 years later, and we're doing a burn notice campaign.
Right. Got an 8.
An 8. Yeah, he's not persuaded, so he won't let you approach the casualty. he's not convinced that you're actually going to help him.
Hey,
He's
new
just
game
like,
idea.
because
See
one
the
of you
big-
guys just up and punched this guy in the throat. So
You see the big red cross on the bag?
yeah, so Wojcinski's like lying. And after a couple of minutes, a whole bunch of other Marines appear. A lot of them are obviously pogos. They're like clerks and mechanics and things like that. They've just hastily put on their gear. And a few others are obviously infantry Marines who've reappeared from their barracks where they were just lying around watching rude movies and stuff. And they come and they surround all you guys, and then they get you to back off, and they approach Wojcinski, and they're working on him.
Well, I'm sorry about this. What was the colonel's name?
Donovan.
Donovan. Oh, I'm sorry about this, Colonel Donovan. It seems like our colleague here was a little bit too quick to the punch, so to speak. But we found our phone that we were looking for, and we believe that we thought we had the mole.
What the hell's been its problem anyway?
I don't
I
think.
think
Hey,
too
man.
many head traumas.
Yeah, you've been in the junk too long, huh?
Just a little professional medical opinion.
Look, man, next time that happens, I might have to take you out myself.
No, it's not going to happen again. Bennett, you're gone.
There you go. That's the way we do it, Brian.
Alrighty. And so the guy's on the edge of death, and Bennett's standing there still adrenaline up and angry looking. And you're surrounded by Marines.
Did the tranquilizer do anything to him?
You didn't give it to him. You were too.
Yeah,
busy
remember
trying-
I said
Yeah.
help the Marine, and then they wouldn't let him help. We've got a medic right here.
Yeah. They've already got medics working on him.
Oh, okay.
So, like I said, they're working on him. They're trying to save his life. That'll take the next several minutes.
Can I shoot
So-
Stu with some tranquilizer now?
We will. We will leave it there.
Can we just shoot Stu?
No.
You can shoot whoever you want, but you have to roll for initiative first.
Okay.
The tranquilizer. All right.
And we'll leave it there. Roll credits.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Well, that certainly went sideways fast. But
Yeah.
regardless, of course, we all had a lot of fun, and
Okay.
big ups to Kyle. Thank you everyone for being patient with the technical issues that I had earlier tonight. I don't know what was going on there, but hopefully it won't happen again.
Hey Kyle, just a thought for your next game design. Prison survival, because I think that's where we're headed.
I kid you
Oh,
not,
God.
I actually have
Oh,
draft
no.
notes for it, where your character, it was long before conflict, where your character gets cred, and instead of XP, it's cred, and you get cred by like administering a beat down to other prisoners, being
I don't.
like,
I'll let you put
It
that.
came from-
Thanks.
I watched the TV series Prison Break. So, you could be the guy who gets people things. You could be the guy who can get the guards off people's back. You could be the guy who administers beatdowns. Or you could be the guy who doesn't, and he's down at the bottom.
I can't wait to hear Bill advertise out that game when it comes out. Yeah.
You won't. You won't. But
I
anyway.
was writing that, and
The guy that creates the
I got
Sims.
like 6 pages in, and it was too dark. I couldn't do it.
Bless
Did you have to write up a stat line for Bubba too?
Anyway.
I
And
wrote
the
up
guy
a
at the
set line
bottom.
for Teabag from Prison Break, and then I decided to stop.
Bless you. All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap it there. I want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight. Big ups again to Kyle for running the Wednesday game for us. we'll be back next week with more conflict, and we'll find out exactly what's going to come of this debacle on the tarmac. Tomorrow night, everybody, you'll want to be here tomorrow night because we will have Mr. Bob Antone in the house talking about, we're going to talk about cryptids and hauntings and American horror stories and ghost stories and music and how it might all fit into the realm of tabletop gaming. And if you don't know who Bob Antone is, of course, he is the fellow who warns us all about the owl bear in the closing credits of every episode. So for my co-host Kyle, for our players Bill T, the other Bill, Jason, and Connect One, I want to say thank you all very much. Have an absolutely wonderful evening, and we'll see you all tomorrow on the show. And until then, let's hope this doesn't cause anything to catch on fire. Do keep your eyes peeled for those deadly and dangerous owl bears. Good night, folks.
Bye, everybody.
Night, peeps.
Have you seen my owl bear?
Good night.
Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.